All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the sports circle. We talk about, backstage rumor, curtain calls, drama. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings from WWE to AEW to New Japan Professional Wrestling to the NWA to the GCW. Makes major news in the world of professional wrestling. We talk about it here on this show 1010%. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the show so you guys can get notifications whenever we decide to go live. All right, so we have today in wrestling history, December 13th. We're gonna jump on into my wrestling DeLorean here. We're gonna gun it to 88 miles per hour and talk about some of the cool moments that happened in the past in terms of the world. Professional wrestling. All right, so and I know I'm gonna Antonio Inoki is fired from New Japan from Japan Wrestling Association after failed coup to take over the company the following year. He would start his own company, New Japan Professional Wrestling. Obviously, still to this day, you've seen how great of a decision that ultimately was. So congratulations. Obviously, I remember that match. Well, I remember watching that match. I wasn't born yet. I remember watching that match between him and Muhammad Ali, which was boxing against professional wrestling. So I thought that was kind of cool. Andre the Giant won the last title of his illustrious career as he and Haku, the Colossal Connection, defeated Demolition in Huntsville, Alabama to win the WWF Tag Team Championships. That's cool. That's cool. Definitely Andre the Giant. Enough said. Everybody knows who Andre the Giant is. If you're a wrestling fan or not. Kind of like Hulk Hogan, kind of like The Rock, kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin, kind of like John Cena, like Roman Reigns. There's a lot of names in professional wrestling that's going to live on forever. It's going to live on for absolutely forever. And Andre the Giant definitely, he was the first ever to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, I believe it was. Don't quote me on that. But, it's kind of cool to see them, kind of team up, the Colossal Connection. Demolition was good, too. Demolition was definitely one of the best tag teams during their respective runs during the 1980s in terms of the world of professional wrestling. All right, so we have... 1989 WCW presented Starrcade 89 Future Shock from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. The show was built around 2 round-robin tournaments, 1 singles and 1 tag. Sting won the singles tournament over Lex Luger, Ric Flair, and the Great Muta. The tag team tournament was won by the Road Warriors, also included Doom, the Steiner Brothers, and the New Wild Samoans. So that's kind of cool. I definitely love the Road Warriors. They were pretty badass. Also Sting. A lot of great names. A promising start to WCW back then. All right. In 1993, in the final of the tournament to crown the first WWF Women's Champion since 1990, Alundra Blayze beat Heidi Lee Morgan in Poughkeepsie, New York. Obviously future WWE Hall of Famer Alundra Blayze, pretty badass. In 1995, 2 years to the day since being brought back into the company, the WWF Women's Championship was deactivated after champion Alundra Blayze and the rest of the women's division were released. In a cost-cutting move, Blayze would soon turn up in WCW Monday Night Nitro and famously throwing the belt, which she retained possession of, in the trash. That was that was pretty big for WWE when that happened. It's kind of it kind of started the Monday Night Wars. I know it was kind of a little early in 1995, but obviously back in the day, Eric Bischoff was still pretty tenacious to be like, we want to make sure that, these stars coming from WWF/WWE today, we want the audience to know that, we want them to know that they were done unjust and that WWF is an evil corporation who don't appreciate their stars. And, obviously this spot was, it was pretty bad. Even in the Vince McMahon documentary, he explained how detrimental this was for the WWF. But, eventually they were able to kind of get off their feet and win the Monday Night Wars. All right, so WWE presented In Your House Rock Bottom from General Motors Palace in Vancouver, British Columbia. We saw, there we go. In the main event, we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat The Undertaker in a buried alive match. In a match for the WWE Championship, Mankind defeated The Rock by knockout at the finish. At the finish, wasn't by pinfall or submission. The Rock, retained the title. All right, in 1998, the ECW Tag Team Championships changed hands in Tokyo, Japan, when Rob Van Dam, Sabu defeated Devon and Bubba Ray Dudley. The Dudley Boys, obviously, the Dudley Boys, huge legends inside the world of wrestling, in ECW and WWE, obviously, when they kind of had their little thing in TNA, Bully Ray was pretty badass. And Rob Van Dam, RVD, and Sabu, oh my God, these guys were they were talented. Obviously, RVD achieved a little bit more success. Well, he achieved success in WWE, obviously defeating John Cena at the ECW One Night Stand for the WWE Championship. And then, Sabu, when he came to WWE, I feel like they could have booked him better. But, during this whole invasion angle, a lot of WCW stars did fall victim to the ego of Vinnie Mac. And, they weren't really, not really, good things. All right, so we have in 1999 on Monday Night Nitro in New Orleans, Louisiana, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the Outsiders, defeat Goldberg and Bret Hart to win the WCW Tag Team Championships. This was this was good. This was good because this would be a huge stepping stone to what eventually would be the NWO. You had to make Scott Hall and Kevin Nash seem like they were contenders. Make them seem like they actually could hang in this powerhouse that was WCW at the time. In 2005, at a SmackDown taping, Batista and Rey Mysterio won the WWE Tag Team Championships from MNM, Joey Mercury, and Johnny Nitro. Obviously, this was a huge thing for Rey Mysterio and Batista, especially after because Eddie, I think, passed in November. So this was, kind of cool. In 2008, in a match in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, The Miz and John Morrison won the World Tag Team Championships from Kofi Kingston and CM Punk. It's kind of crazy, the unlikeliest of tag teams. But, the unlikeliest of tag teams defeated one of the most unlikeliest of tag teams, Kofi Kingston and CM Punk. So, kind of crazy. 2009, WWE's first tables, ladders, and chairs pay-per-view took place at the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, obviously the hometown of Shawn Michaels. 3 title changed hands on the card. The first was the Intercontinental Championship, where Drew McIntyre defeated John Morrison. Later on, Sheamus won his first WWE Championship with a victory over John Cena. In a tables match in the main event, we saw D-Generation X, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels win the unified WWE Tag Team Championships in a TLC match against Jericho, Chris Jericho, and The Big Show. The Undertaker also took on Batista in a chairs match. That was kind of like the highlight of my WWE. I remember watching that, and it was pretty badass. I was a huge person. I was a huge dork of D-Generation X. I had the shirts. I had everything. It was pretty cool. 2010, the annual Slammy Awards took place on Monday Night Raw. John Cena took home the award of Superstar of the Year. Not really a surprise there, especially back in 2010. 2015 WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs took place at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. At the event, you saw Dean Ambrose won the Intercontinental Championship from Kevin Owens. In the main event, Sheamus retained his WWE Championship in a TLC match against the big dog Roman Reigns. In 2016, WWE hosted Tribute to the Troops, which was taped and at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. The main event saw Roman Reigns and Big Cass defeat Rusev and Kevin Owens, obviously, I think the top heels at that time. And finally, in 2019, it was a momentous night in Ring of Honor history as their final battle took place. Pay-per-view took place in Baltimore, Maryland, as 3 title changes took place. The final 3 matches on the card, Dragon Lee defeated Shane Taylor for the Ring of Honor Television Championship in the first change of the night. In the following match, we saw Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham beat Jay and Mark Briscoe to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. Finally, we saw PCO defeat Rush for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. So, like I said, PCO has been around professional wrestling for a long time. It's kind of crazy. All right, guys, so hey, that was my show. Like I said, remember to like and subscribe to the show. Follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. Like I always say, if I've not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have all these amazing podcasts. Make sure you check them out on the GSMC Sports Network. They have one passion, same passion as you guys. Awesome awesome sports talk. So make sure you guys tune into all the other guys. Once again, hope you guys have a great week. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing holiday season. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.